So inserting shapes into Word is very easy, and a wealth of shapes are available to you. If you've gone through our PowerPoint Zero to Hero course, then you'll be very familiar with some of the things that we're doing, but there are some slight additions to Word to help you manipulate your shapes. Let's have a look, shall we? So I'm going to come up into the Insert and then Shapes. And I've got a wealth of shapes available to me, so perhaps what I might want to do is insert a rounded rectangle. Here we go, and I can just put it anywhere in this document. Now if I want to resize and rotate that shape, if I just click on the shape again, it brings it into focus, and I have a number of different icons here. So we have these white icons here that allow me to resize the shape, and depending on which white icon I do depends on how I can drag and stretch the shape accordingly. We then have green icons. So the green icons, as soon as I move the mouse over it, it allows me to rotate the shape to any angle I want. And then finally we've got these yellow icons. The yellow icons are not available on all shapes, but what it does is it allows you to change some of the actual curvature of shapes. So perhaps if I drag this all the way in, it actually is more like a circle rather than a rounded rectangle, or maybe I just want it just there. So green, white, and the yellow icons. So it's very easy to move, resize, and rotate your shapes. Another thing we have is we have layers. So for example, if I now insert another shape, and let's perhaps now this time go for a star. There we go. You can see that this star, let me just change the color on that. There we go. This star is on top of the other square. If I want to, I could send this to the back. If I right click, I then have a number of options here, send to back. And when I click on that, it sends the shape behind the rectangle. If I want to move a rectangle to the back, I can right click on it, send to the back. But I can also bring to the front. And if you could imagine, I've got multiple rectangles here. What I've got is I've got the ability to bring it to the very front or just bring forward one layer. So we've got multiple layers on top of each other and very easy just to bring shapes in front and behind each other. The next thing is the shapes and the styles and the outlines of them. Let's have a look. Let's look at this star. So I'm going to bring it to the front. And if I click up here, I've got a whole load of preset visual settings available to me. Here we go. So I like that one. There we go. But in fact, I've got a wealth more. So I could just change the fill here. I could perhaps have more of a gradient to the colors. I could perhaps put in some texture instead. Just come down to the texture. There we go. Perhaps have a wood texture. Or perhaps I just want to change the outline so that I've got a black outline there. And then in the actual shape effects, we've got a lot of preset effects here. And this allows me to have beveled shapes, shading, 3D options. And the live preview really does show you all the variations that you can really jazz up what was a boring star. And these presets are really a combination of these. So we've got shadows. We could just have reflection. See the reflection at the bottom? Could put a glow to that star. There we go. Oh, just lost the live preview. There we go. Bring it back. There we go. I could blur the edges. I could make it beveled. So a whole host of options to format how the shapes look. Not bad for a word processing piece of software, really. The next thing you might want to do is add text to a shape. So if I'm adding text to a shape, what I can do is I can right click on any shape and you can see that I have the add text option up here. And if I go in here, I can say hello. There we go. But sometimes what you do find is the text doesn't always align nicely within the shape. And so another option you can do is you can insert a text box. So I'm going to go insert. And then I've got text box here. And if I click on here, I've got a whole host of more complex text boxes, but you find that the ones that you tend to use is just the simple text box. And if I just click on it, I can just come down here, draw text box. There we go. And I'm going to go, hello, this is a text box for my star. Okay. Straight away you'll notice, it looks ugly. It's got this black border, it's got filled white. So again, I can apply the same formatting techniques as I did with the shape before. So I'm going to come up to here and shape fill. I'm going to say that there's no fill. I'm going to say that there's no outline. And then I can resize the text box. You can see it automatically moves the text accordingly. I'm then going to bring it here. I'm going to come to the text formatting that we looked at in earlier videos. I'm going to make it centralized, and of course I'm going to change it to white. There we go. Now that I've done that, doesn't it look good on the star? But the issue you'll have is if I drag that away, the text box doesn't stay in the same place on the star. So what I want to do is I want to link them together, and it's called grouping. So what I can do is I can group any shapes and text boxes together. All I do is hold down Shift on my keyboard and then select multiple objects. And then if I right click on my mouse, and you can see I've just lost focus again of this rectangle, so I'm going to right click again and it brings it back. Group and group. And that now means that I can just drag the whole thing together and it stays together. There is an alternative that you might not have seen in any of the previous Word or Excel if you've done those and we're looking at formatting. In Word, you've got a drawing canvas. And if you come up here and go Insert, Shapes, and then we've got New Drawing Canvas down here. What that does is allows you to automatically group all of those shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these, I'm going to copy them to my clipboard, come back to my canvas, and I'm going to paste them within my canvas. There we go, we're in my canvas now. So they're all grouped together, so if I move them, they stay together. But what I can do is if I now ungroup them and pretend that this is actually how I started off. I created a canvas and then I put a square on it and then star and then some text. What it now allows me to do is it allows me to move around the items individually, but then if I want to move everything, what I can do is I can just move this canvas. So for example, if I just want to move the canvas down, you can see that everything stays together. So there we go. We've got a little bit more that we could look at on this drawing canvas, and that's in how we wrap text around it, same with these shapes, but we'll do that in the next video. As usual, just give it a go. Create some shapes, open up Word, and try some formatting.